knockdown. And the height advantage, a good 5.5 inches in favor of Gene Hatcher, who last fought in October in Atlantic City. As a welterweight, he stopped Darrell Anthony in the 11th round. Started slowly, which has been the case with Hatcher, and then usually steps up the attack and comes on. Back in June of '84, Hatcher came up with that major upset when he stopped Johnny Bumpus to win the WBA junior welterweight title. He successfully defended the crown in December of '84 by taking a 15-round decision from Ubaldo Sacco of Argentina, but lost the rematch in July of '85. Bout was stopped in the 9th round because of severe cuts over both eyes, and that a concern of the Hatcher camp. Frankie Warren at 22-0, 15 by knockout. His last fight back in November in Atlantic City, he stopped Ozzie O'Neill in 5. And his most impressive victory was last July, as seen here on NBC Sports World. Warren taking that 10-round decision over previously unbeaten Buddy McGirt in his hometown of Corpus Christi, Texas. In fact, Ferdy, an outstanding 1986 for Warren. Wins over Roberto Elizondo and Sammy Fuentes, along with Ronnie Shields. The win over Fuentes on a split decision, one of the action fights of last year.
Almost all of his fights have been action fights. It seems as if that's the only alternative left to him, just to keep coming. Both these fighters are known for their reluctance to back up.
Scoring on the 10-point plus. And it will be handled by the 3 judges, Rudy Ortega, Hank Ellis Crew, and Kraus Montano. No standing 8. 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and a fighter may not be saved by the bell except in the final round. Feeling going in is that Warren will try to use the jab more than he usually does.
Warren's also been instructed by Georgie Benton. His favorite tactic is bang the arms of Gene Hatcher. Make them so tired that in the final rounds, as they go into 7, 8, 9, and 10, they're just dead. We've seen it work to great effect here in the last year or 2 on NBC.
Hatcher was asked before the fight about the height differential, but he says Warren is 5'2" tall and 5'2" wide. But he says that he will not have any difficulty punching down on him, but sometimes that can be a problem.
He also answered that he fought a Cuban fighter whose name he didn't recall and knocked him out in the 4th round, who was 5'2".
Feeling out first round. There's the left thrown by Warren.
Remember the characteristic of Gene Hatcher. He just blows these first 2 or 3 rounds. He's blowing the first. He just can't get started for the first 2 or 3 rounds.
This is scheduled for 10. And that is it for a non-eventful opening round. And here's Frankie Warren out for round 2. We mentioned that Hatcher is usually very relaxed at the start and usually a slow starter. Frankie Warren also starts slowly in his fights, gradually builds, punches effectively with both hands, looks to go to the body with authority, that time up high, and he caught Hatcher.
Powerful right hand, high on the head of Hatcher, but registered very well. Watch particularly the jabbing of Frankie Warren. They have worked on this jab, and it's been effective in the first round. Let's see what happens round 2.
Very colorful trunks being worn by Gene Hatcher.
Look like the drapes in my room in Hawaii. The whole corner is dressed that way. It must have had a sale on that kind of material.
Nice combination by Warren, who getting to step it up here in the 2nd round.
You could been counting the jabs of Frankie Warren in this second round. You notice that he just hasn't abandoned it. Just bip, 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 bip. That's what he's trying to do, is soften up the face of Gene Hatcher, who's known to cut badly.
And coming up on a minute to go in the second round, Gene Hatcher, 27 years old, out of Fort Worth, Texas. 27-3, 21 by knockout. Frankie Warren out of Corpus Christi, and he comes in undefeated, 22-0, 15 by KO.
That little punch you just saw was what's called a spear by Lou Duva. He drops his shoulder and really throws a jab from the waist. Very peculiar punch. Beginning to punch with great authority now. Just as Georgie Benton always tells him, hit something and hit it hard.
Strong right hand landed by Warren. Good second round for Frankie Warren. Frankie Warren sustained a cut over his left eye back in round 2.
I really didn't see that happen. I saw him go back into the corner. Go figure boxing. The guy that's supposed to be cut is Hatcher. He's getting pummeled by very hard shots by Warren, and he's not cut. I didn't see any punches. I didn't see any headbutting. I don't know how he got cut, but cut he is.
And it could lead to Warren attempting to accelerate the action. What does the Fight Doctor scorecard show?
So far, a shutout for Frankie Warren, 20-18. He took both those rounds. Usually in the third or fourth, Gene Hatcher wakes up and comes to work. He's got something to shoot for now.
And that was the case when he won the championship against Johnny Bumpus. Good combination by Warren. Hatcher also started slowly in that first defense against Ubaldo Sacco. Very strong shots to the body delivered by Warren. And again, the cut a factor. In fact, Warren bleeding.
And that's why his attack is so fierce. He's worried. It's very early in the fight. If that cut opens up, that #1 ranking and that title shot can go bye-bye. So he's gone right down to work on Gene Hatcher.
And the feeling is that the winner here today will get a title shot. The WBA junior welterweight champ, Patrizio Oliva of Italy, the WBC champ, Yoshi Hamada of Japan, and the IBF title holder is Joe Manley.
Warren, having established himself in the beginning of this round, has taken the rest of the round off and is boxing away. Not his style. His style is straight ahead and punching as hard as he can.
And his corner screaming, go forward, Frank. Under a minute to go in this third round.
Boy, can Hatcher take a shot? Those things are bombs. I mean, Hatcher didn't even blink. He's smiling. Hatcher's smiling. At least the smile is gone.
Warren coming on late in this third round, but coming on strong. Best punch of the bout was that right hand a moment ago.